I'm Erik. I own the Ocala Jockey Club with my wife Pavla, who can't be here tonight. She's in California. I just wanted to welcome you all to our property. This property, or at least the center portion of it, was developed in 1982 as a thoroughbred training farm. There's many in Marion County because of what we all know, the great soil, terrain, and the climate. And my wife and I are in the thoroughbred business. We breed and raise horses, and have again had the benefit of enjoyment of owning this place. But this is kind of a small part of the property. There's actually some large vacant land on either side. So over time, we've been thinking, what should we do with it? And I'm not a rider. I've spent more time on a tractor than on a horse in my life. Well, my wife, aside from the horses we own as our business, she has an off-the-track thoroughbred that she's had for 18 years. I'm a runner by background. I ran cross country and have done a bunch of marathons. So I like kind of the cross country, longer distances. Thoroughbreds are kind of short, and it's unfortunate they're typically retired at the age of 3 or 4. So we're trying to figure out what our horses should be doing for the rest of their lives. So I see racing as kind of the appetizer, and then, okay, what should we be doing with the entree of their lives? So the last couple of years, we've gotten very excited about eventing, and I think, not a well-kept secret, but more and more people are discovering Marion County and the benefit of what we have here, a special little corner of the world. And I think we've got a property that might be, or so I'm told, might be conducive to having a nice cross-country course, as well as other arenas and whatnot. So we're pretty excited. We've got some ambitious plans. We've teamed up with Equiventures to host 3-day eventing here, and we've got our first event planned for November. And we're pretty excited about that, and we've got some ambitious plans. So enough about me, and enough about the property. You can look around for yourself and see what you think, and if you want to grab me, we can go spin around the cross-country course in a truck. But again, enough for me. Let's hear from some other folks who are much more knowledgeable on the topic. So first, I'd like to introduce Mike Etherington-Smith.
Okay, thanks, Erik. Hello, everybody. Thanks for turning out. I've sort of been asked to explain a little bit about what's going on here. For those of you who've not been here before, I mean, this is a very extensive property that is fabulous. I've been lucky enough to design tracks around the world, as one or two of you probably know. And in terms of quality of venue, for me this is second to none, and there's fantastic opportunities here to do anything and everything that anybody wants to do here. It's traditional rolling land, rolling parkland. It's very English, which is great for me. And you know, the opportunities to design, you know, even sort of world-class tracks here is immense. So you'll hear a little bit more about that in a bit. So what we've been trying to do, I first came here in the middle of last year, and we've had a look around. Clayton's doing the 1 and 2. Clayton's going to talk to you in a minute. And you know, we sort of decide and sit down and talk with Erik and with Richard and others and say, okay, what's the vision for this? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Where do you want to be in 10 years' time? So we sit down and thrash all that out and decide exactly what the pathway is going to be, so all the investment is going in the right direction. But clearly, when you're running a sport like this, you know, you set it up, you work backwards from where you want to be in 5 years' time. Now, there's a racing side of the property. There's all sorts of activities that go on. There's weddings that go on here, and so we have to factor in all sorts of things. But arguably the most important thing for me is the footing. Ground here is again fantastic. There's a huge amount of effort going in at the moment to preparing the ground. It doesn't matter how good or bad the fences are that I produce. Hopefully they're better than bad. You know, if the footing is no good, it counts for nothing. And so this is one of the joys of this place. The footing is fabulous. We've tried very hard to put a lot of sport in front of people. What you see in front of you is the main arena is going to be down there, which is all grassed and prepared. There's irrigation pipes there. And there's all sorts of overlay plans for how it's going to look come competition time. Cross-country course itself is going to be, we put as much in front of everybody as possible here. And you'll be able to go to the other end of the car park and see the rest of the course. So there's a massive amount you can actually see without a huge amount of exercise. which I'm told is quite important for this part of the world, because people don't like walking, they like it convenient, which is great. And you know, convenience is good. You try and make it user-friendly, you try and make it spectator-friendly, you try and make it competitor-friendly, and it's really, really important. So this is the hub of the thing, and you know, so we built it all around it. And because of the undulations, I'm told that Florida's pretty flat, and these are almost the biggest hills you get in the country, state, whatever it is, state, get it right. And so it's a fantastic opportunity. We see the start and finish from here. The early part of the track is that side, or all the tracks are that side, then it comes in front, and you can stand here with a glass of beer, see the whole shooting match from up here. There are some big ambitions, and Richard will tell you those in a minute, and to be honest, there's not a lot else I can say. I think it's really exciting to be here, and it is, as I say, the most fantastic venue, and there's a lot of ambition, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of goodwill, and you know, it's great to be involved in it, and obviously I wish those who are behind it all the best in the way forward. So I'm not going to shout, I'll hand over to Clayton, who's very good at talking, and I can tell you a little about the 1 star and the 2 star. So anyway, there you go. Now this old fellow, he's going a bit grey. Clayton has, I'm not going to do an interview, but Q&A with him. This man has ridden, I think he might be the only person who's ridden all the 4 stars around the world. So, not bad for an old codger. There you go. Okay.
Thanks, Mike. I think there's so many opportunities. I think what we're seeing here today is a fantastic site for opportunity, and it's opportunity in many, many ways. First of all, and sorry about the feedback here, I'll turn the other way. First of all, it's a fantastic opportunity for the group of people that have come together to put this event on. The Nygaard family, who obviously own the property but are also passionate about our sport, is very, very unique. To have a course designer heading up the design, and believe you, I'm really just the apprentice in this whole thing, very much led by what Mike is going to produce here, is such an amazing opportunity. To have someone as an organiser as Richard Trayford, who everyone can agree is absolutely bubbling over like a bottle of freshly opened champagne with enthusiasm, is a pretty unique opportunity. The ground that we have here, the undulation, all speaks for itself. You guys are all based down here, you understand what that means. Most of you that have been here for a long time, some of you haven't been here for so long. When the rest of the world understands what we have here, it is such an opportunity, especially with our date that comes in a place in the worldwide calendar, especially if we eventually align to a 4-star, which is what the long-term goal is. It aligns perfectly in a calendar. If you guys can imagine a world which starts at Burley in September, Po in October, here in November, a perfect place to rest your horse through the winter months, and then prepare again for the Rolex, and then the badminton going on to the Lamoulen in Germany. Just rounds up a fantastic 4-star calendar. And I think there is a massive opportunity to bring the whole of the world's eventing community to here for a good period through the winter. And I think this event provides a pinnacle or the catalyst to do that. So yeah, I think there's just a fantastic opportunity here, and I think you guys are obviously as excited as I am, but the ground here is just amazing. I'm sure it's going to be the best in the world. Everyone's talked about that. I certainly feel, I don't know how we're going to arrange for the Duke and the Duchess, how we arrange those titles, but I'm sure, you know, that sort of happens, you know, when you have a 4-star on your property. But anyway, I'll leave that one up to Richard to pull. I'm happy to give up my key to the city, but anyway, I think Richard's got a few more things to announce and tell everyone, so I'm going to hand over to Richard now, our bubbling champagne organiser.
It's right, because I'm bubbling over with excitement right now. Thanks, Clay. I've got to tell you, not many people know who I am. I was a great rider like Clayton, and I was actually a great runner like Erik. Actually, let me tell you about that. He's an MIT grad, Erik. He's a smart guy. Didn't take him long to work out that this is probably the best place in the world for the sport. He got perfect weather, he got perfect footing. It's not a bad tent we're in right now either, is it? So when I came here, I kind of thought about the public a little more, because you need public to generate any sport and take it to the next level, right? I often say to people that tell me, "Hey, there wasn't enough prize money in that game." How many people did you count when you rode around the cross-country course? Nobody. How many people watched you on live stream? Well, we got a brilliant guy right here, one of the best experts in television sport worldwide, standing in the crowd here. I'll talk to you about him in a sec. But unless we've got something that has the potential for an audience, there's no real future for the professionals in our sport. The professionals have the hardest time in our sport. I often think in our sport, as an amateur, you start with some money, you end up with virtually none. As you go up the ladder, it gets more and more expensive and you get less and less respect. And as a husband of a rider, and as someone who's probably owned 1,000 event courses, I thought, come on guys, we've got to do something about that. So obviously when I landed in Ocala, it was quite an exciting proposition because it doesn't clash with anything. It doesn't technically upset anything. As Clayton rightly said, he pointed out the calendar, he's ridden in every one of those events and completed it. There is real potential here to do something good without really costing the sport anything, just increase the game. Bring some television, bring an audience. And when I looked out there, and I knew that sitting here in this chair, I could watch all the dressage, all the cross-country virtually, add a jumbotron for good effect. And I could see all the show jumping, if that's the order that we run it. So very, very exciting potential here. And I could go on for hours, as he says, I'm bubbling with enthusiasm, but I'm not going to do that. I want to tell you about the real juice that's happening right now, the real scoop. Okay? Can't wait to tell you that. But there's two people I want to thank. They're probably the two most important people here. Because I came here during a good economy. I could look like a hero. You know we're not exactly recession-proof in this game. The economy drops. We all start selling everything, horses and all. The economy picks up. Everyone wants to enter a show. Our numbers are going up. But the real adventure guys are sitting here on my right. And they're the guys during the worst of the recession saved eventing in this area. These two, John and Peter, kept and created Equiventures solely to keep the sport in this area when no one wanted to do it. And they deserve the credit. We talk about me being Equiventures. I just took it on during the easy time. They're the guys who kept sport in what hopefully will become the best place in the world to play this game. So the credit, and if you don't mind, give them that round of applause. Those are the guys who kept the sport alive. So I want the credit, they get. I'll tell you what we'll get credit for though. Today, at about, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock, Joni Morris sent me an email. I know a couple of other people got the same email. And it asked us to do something really simple. Can you put in a bid, a formal bid, for a 4-star in the Ocala Jockey Club in 2018? There will be one in America, I'm certain of that. Of course we'd love it to be here. I think for you guys the news is great regardless. There'll probably be another 4-star in 2018 in the United States. I know that by pushing for it, pushing hard for it, and obviously the USEF have got to do the right thing. We've got to put it out to tender. We don't expect anything. We want to put in a credible bid for it. So all you guys who have property, whether you rent it, own it, buy it, share with someone, live in a camper van, live in a palace, come down here with 1 horse or 10 horses, 1 group or 50, 20 working students, or you do everything yourself, you're in the right place. Because this is the best place, it's the most resilient place in the world to run an event. Mike will know that already this season in Great Britain, 3 events have been cancelled. What do you need as an organiser? You need to know that show's going to run. By the way, I'm totally the best news ever, just so you know. You want to know your event can run. You want to know that the spectators are comfortable, so the weather's decent. You want to know the footing's great. As John Holland always points out to me, make sure the footing's great. He's right, of course. Who wants to destroy a horse who spent 8 years preparing it? Because some idiot didn't think of that. Very, very important. Second most important thing. Thanks to that man who went to MIT, we're going to guarantee $100,000 prize money at our first event. That's probably the highest prize ever given below 4-star anywhere in the world. The challenge would be to throw that wrong, I couldn't find it. And it's a little bit sad in a way, but $100,000 is a proper professional prize. In an ideal world, you wouldn't have to make it. As the late, great Hendrik Wiegersma said to me, Richard, event riders are not like regular athletes. They live on cornflakes. I never liked that. He didn't mean it. That guy literally gave up years of his life because of his daughter. A good friend of hers is here. We're talking about the late Hendrik Wiegersma. Top man. And I don't believe that, I never believed it. Why should a professional athlete in any sport live on cornflakes? Ridiculous. So we want to start that ball rolling. We want to send a polite message to all organisers around the world, but not a threat. This is not about who can write the biggest cheque, who can throw the most fairy dust over a show. We're under more pressure now, not less, because of that. Because I'm not going to waste this owner's money. I have to go out now and find sponsors, patrons, donors, television. I need to make that a good choice, not a bad one, correct? But I do want the money going where it normally goes in most professional sports, to the professionals that in our case risk their neck to do it. You become, in my opinion, and I think most of us agree with this, when you go 3-star and above, you become a professional. You're no longer an amateur, you're no longer in it just for the fun. You become an entertainer. And entertainers should be paid for what they do. And I know Erik passionately agrees with me on this, and I think all of us. Mike E.S. was one of the first professional riders ever in this sport. Clayton, one of the most successful. But none of them have been overpaid. So I think it's time to work together as a team. You know, getting organisers together is like herding frogs. But it's time for us to come together as a team in this sport and really promote what is an incredibly exciting sport to watch. And when we get that bit right, we'll all be paid. Fantastic. It's not all about money, it's about the stability and the future of the sport. I'm not going to say much, so I don't talk much, I'm quite a shy person. I just want to point someone out. We're all very lucky about lots of things, the footing, the people that come to this beautiful area, the talent that's here. There's a gentleman in a cowboy hat here, I don't know if you've noticed him. Raymond D. Maria is one of the most prominent people ever in the business of sports television. We are so lucky to have him in this town. He is a bona fide expert on television sports, the missing link in our game. Raymond is so prominent, you're on the Blue Ribbon Council for awarding Emmys for television production. If you get an Emmy, it's because he said it was good enough. Now, we want people like that to come and look at our sport. And hopefully they'll agree with me that 16 hours of material is a pretty good show if you condense it down to an hour. So we're going to make together, hopefully, a real future for everyone in this game.